when dinosaurs ruled the earth. Starring Victoria Vetri, Danger from Above, Danger from Below, when dinosaurs ruled the earth, rated G.
Welcome back, my fellow agents. It is I, X7, your agent of awesome, an interdimensional man of mystery. Today we are going to be reviewing the 1980 Dinosaur Scrapbook by Donald F. Glut. And I will have a little preview here for you. I'll be showing you my copies. But before we get into that, please like, share, subscribe, leave me a comment. You know what to do. Do you have this book? I've got 2 copies. It's not too expensive to find anymore. But back in the day, it sure was. I wonder where all these copies ended up. There's a picture of it. And if you're ready, it's time to get on with the show. All right, my fellow agents. Here is my first copy. This, I don't remember which one I got first now. I have 2, but this is the one we'll just be using because it's the easiest one to deal with since it's the paperback volume. Here's the back. This is not the copy that the pictures came out of. That is my hardbound copy, which is right here. I'm assuming that, I think I got both of these from thrift books. I'm assuming it had a slipcover on it to begin with, but what do I know? So we have this, and it's the same thing, 230, 320 pages. My dyslexia coming up again. And but it's exactly the same, inside and out. Same. Oops, there's a Chewy for the girls there. But all kinds of fun stuff in here. It was published in 1980. So I've often thought he should do an update of it, but then I realized what really could be done is redo it with color and maybe correct a few of the then, things you wouldn't have known about. Or not. Or then just do a volume 2 from 1980 to 1981 to whatever Don wants to do. It was compiled and written by Donald F. Glut, whom I've met, and the author of the Dinosaur Dictionary, which I've also read, but it's very much more scientific than this. This is for fun, for monsters. What does it say there? More than 600 photographs, drawings, cartoons, and posters, dinosaurs in amusement parks, comic books. It's a lot. I mean, I'm surprised it's only 320 pages. You could easily separate it into all of it, and it'd be impossible to do now because there's so much more you know, as you've known through my reviews, if you've watched them. But these are the 2 copies. I don't remember why it was important for me to get a hardbound one as well as the softbound one. It is a William Stout picture there. And we'll get into it momentarily. All right, here we have my cover of my soft, it's this paperback version. Yes, I want to be a paperback writer. Just fun stuff there, and dedication to his sainted mother. I have met Don and read many, many of his comic books that he wrote and articles. He was one of the first writers that would write positively about Godzilla movies, even from the 70s, which, as you know, is a rare thing. So there's a William Stout drawing, which I have one of my own, a slight one. And that's, contents. So introductions, obviously that's Ray Harryhausen right there. You got him there, and Robert A. Long. And then a preface of all kinds of dinosaurs. So this is from, it was written in 1980 as obviously a labor of love. And I'd seen his Dinosaur Dictionary, but finding this one was a lot more difficult. In fact, only Agent DA I don't know if he had a copy of it. He actually was going to give it to me, but then never did, which is understandable these days. And that was the only, I don't know why he had it, because if it didn't involve Ray Harryhausen and stop motion animation, he really didn't care too much about it. Like these original Dinosaurs of Crystal Palace, which we have reviewed. And there's a plesiosaurus in all its magnificent glory, and it needs to be repaired. It has since been repaired, but I love these. And eventually, there will be a Xenorama issue of vintage paleo art because you have to keep them alive. You just really do. Just look at all this fun stuff. So it's really well detailed. There's their less than anatomically correct pterodactyls and dinosaurs at the World's Fair. Now, this is the original World's Fair was from the mid 30s, early 30s. It was very similar. They were all based on Charles Knight. But look at that. Then the 1964 World's Fair, 65, 66, went on tour. Obviously, I have been to the one seen the Stegosaurus up there in Vernal, well, actually, Dinosaur National Monument, and we'll be getting some more stuff about that shortly. Well, in September. 2 months, can you believe it? Then we go on to the Lost Worlds of Edgar Rice Burroughs, which he had a lot of dinosaurs in there, including a flying Stegosaurus from Tarzan at the Earth's Core. I never read many DC comics with Tarzan because I could never find him in order. And there's Hex's Paw, my little polydactyl princess. Early artwork for the wonderful, well, I love it. At the Earth's Core, I had this. This is not mine, but I had it. And then we go into the pulp dinosaurs, which I've not gotten to read much of. But they were all deadly, no matter whether they were Vegisauruses or Metasauruses. But I have some. I don't know that I've read them. I've read a couple. Then we go into Dinosaurs Invade the big screen, because there wasn't a small screen at the time. The Lost World. You've got all kinds of fun stuff here from Willis O'Brien's early days, King Kong, Creation, and some comic book versions from 68, which they re-released in probably 75, 76, in anticipation and ruining the excitement of any possible excitement for the 1976 remake, which is, maybe I should try watching it again. I've only ever seen it once, and I've never wanted to watch it again. Just throw in some color here. There's another Harryhausen, as we saw, Beast from Hollow Mountain. Maybe we should, no, we threw that in yesterday. Giant Behemoth. 1 million years BC. Well, it didn't take much for me to want to put that in anything. When dinosaurs ruled the earth, we've already seen. And look, Zeppelin versus pterodactyls in 1980. That was still a thing. But it eventually, as the primevals, revived the project. And we've finally seen it. And now it's time for station identification. You are watching Xenorama, the podcast of heroes and monsters on KXNO, part of the Xenorama Broadcasting Network. We now return you to our regularly scheduled program. Trust Don to get in the homage to the Rhedosaurus there from the otherwise rather dreary and already reviewed Planet of Dinosaurs, or Planet of the Dinosaurs, take your pick. We next go into the Slurpasauruses, a name I still don't care for much, but as we just saw, there's the original 1 million BC. Maybe I'll review that one day if I feel the urge to punish myself even more. Teenage Caveman, we just saw that. Robot, the lovely and hilarious, unintentionally robot monster. I want to say on the void, that would be Valley of the Dragons, probably down there. And the Lost World from 1960 something or another. I do enjoy Journey to the Center of the Earth, that version of it. It's quite good, even with the lizards as masquerading as Dimetrodon. And Reptilicus, we all know my feelings of Reptilicus and his identical twin Reptosaurus, Land Unknown, Gorgo. And then, of course, we get to the Japanese monsters. This was what I was interested in because, again, Don wrote nicely and very, competently about Japanese monsters. There's Rodan right there, and Destroy All Monsters. And, of course, Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla, a.k.a. Godzilla versus Bionic Monster, Cosmic Monster, Marvel's Godzilla here. There's one from Don's own stop-motion movies, Godzilla versus Bambi, always hilarious. And then we get he even gets Ultraman right. And there's Gomorrah and brings in the Hanna-Barbera Godzilla, which we will review at some point in time, I promise. And of course, 16 millimeter of Yungary and of Gappa, or monster from a prehistoric planet. The cartoon dinosaurs. I really should put Valley of the Dinosaurs in here, which I didn't think about. And many of these are from various shorts there. A Mighty Mouse cartoon, lots of Warner Brothers stuff, always hilarious. I didn't put in too many of those. Dinosaurs on the Air, Land of the Lost, naturally, and there's Grumpy and Alice having their mating ritual. I don't think they were ever fighting. Because if he figured out he could go across that land bridge, yeah. Anyway, you've got the Outer Limits episode, which is one of the first ones I ever saw. Flintstones, naturally. Stuff with Tom Corbett or whoever that happened to be. Space Ghost. I wonder why that's in there, right, Lilith? Valley of the Dinosaurs. And, of course, Land of the Lost. I actually have one or two of the Valley of the Dinosaurs comic books. But I do love it. And then all of this Man from Atlantis, of course. I don't even know what that's supposed to be there. Oh, that's from, Filmation's Flash Gordon. That's really topical. Then we go to Dinosaurs in the Comics, which are both comic strips and comic books. Many more comic books than comic strips. Sorry about the blurriness. I blame the cats. I think I actually have that Kona, Monarch of the Monsters, which didn't really make much sense to me, but it was cheap. Treasure Chest, I have that one downloaded from the internet or from comic book database. Well, it's great. Primal Man. There's Adventures into the Unknown. I mean, this cover is great. I don't think that actually happens in there. 52-page issue, 10 cents. Jeez. Two Rock, and of course I do have to include the Deathless Honker. We've talked about that. Devil Dinosaur, probably the last great dinosaur-related, comic strip. I know that this is Moon Boy there, which Moon Girl was not even a glimmer yet. What has happened to Moon Boy? Anyone can tell me? Let me know in the comments. And there's Tigra, because of course Tigra. Dynamo battling a Wally Wood Dynamo battling a Wally Wood. There, who is this? The Nemesis series. Looks like the half of the Phantom. No Man, Solar, Captain Marvel. Everyone's fought dinosaurs. Now we go to Dinosaur Land, which is not exactly what Dinosaur Land is, but this is up in Vernal Dinosaur National Monument. There it is. I took that picture. And this is in the wonderful museum. Again, we'll be seeing more of this, including dinosaur hunting licenses. I have mine right over there. And I'm going to get another one while I'm there. And there's Gertie. That's not Gertie, that's Dinah. Gertie's a whole different story. Uh-oh, look at that. It's a Pachycephalosaurus. You know what that means.
But I can. Pachycephalosaurus charge!
Higgintoot for life. Come on, Isaac. You gotta love Isaac. So then we go into the dinosaur parks, which he talks about some of the more famous ones up here in Calgary, eh? How's it going? And there's stuff from South Dakota. I've got so many to visit. I want to say this particular Dinosaur Land was actually in San Diego, courtesy Scott Shaw. That's him right there. But I'm not 100% sure. There was one. By the time I found out about it, it had dwindled down to one sculpture remaining. They don't mention the Dinosaur Land in Virginia, Winchester, right there. So that's sad. But more stuff there. They talk about sculptures and everything. And then you get a prehistoric potpourri. Not potpourri. There's as I thought it was, the Agathalmus, which is now Monoclonius. Just wonderful drawings and artwork. And I really am ready for this book to be out. They're still working on it. And no rush there. But there's the prehistoric scenes were something I had. I had 1, 2, 3. I had 4. I did not have the Allosaurus for some reason. But we are at the end of the show here. Not the Tyrant King there, how dinosaurs ended, which we know more now about that. There's the back of the book, which Godzilla game, which I never had. I did see, but I don't know why I didn't bother to get it, which would have been fun. And Flintstones, Land Unknown, all sorts of fun stuff. So once again, you can find this. I got mine, probably both of them, from Thrift Books, which I highly recommend. But it is time to say goodbye to this book. We will bid adieu to it now.
If I can only get unstuck, I'll be swinging at one of my most fearsome foes next week.
All right, my fellow agents, after several technical difficulties, we have finished this episode. I'm sorry if it seems a bit disjointed, but I'm just too awesome to finish it or recreate it as was. As is. You know what I mean. So tomorrow we will be reviewing the final 2 episodes of the Most Excellent Spider Noir series. But until that next assignment, this is X7 signing off and phasing out. And remember, the sun never sets on those who ride into it. You just gotta keep going. Be seeing you.